Hello, members. This is Carmen, the host of Just Joined In, and we have a reading in progress right now. While I was recording, I wasn't able to capture the introduction to Alison Pickering, who is doing this card reading right now to Julie Trainer. And so I wanted to just give her her props and add this video to the beginning of this presentation that we just had and let you know that Allison Pickering has her own group and she does tarot card reading in her group. She has a certain schedule. And I wanted to read her bio because that tells you a little bit about who she is. And Allison Pickering is from Los Angeles. She spent 35 years in teaching and even longer studying and working with Tara as a student as well as professionally. She talks about going on cruises and also providing services, tarot card seminars on cruises for the last 4 years. So that's got to be exciting to go see her do. She just shows beautiful cards. If you can see behind me, this was my reading about 2 weeks ago or so. And she's educating me. I have no idea how tarot cards are interpreted, but it was all positive. It was all great. That's the Empress back there that I relate to. She's a caring and loving mother. And so each card has its own little story, and depending on who the cards are being read for, it's interpreted. And Allison has this intuition of doing this. So in progress, she's doing Julie's reading, and we'll go right there now. Okay, I'll put all the links for Allison so you can be in touch with her and ask her all these questions directly. Join her group, and you're gonna love it. Okay, so thank you for joining us. All right, take care.
Well spoken, Jamie. I think that you really
Yes.
keyed in on some important things, and let's consider Jamie's noticing that the swords are very present. We have it in that major justice. Then you've got it in the king and in the seven. If all we did was contrast this sword versus that sword, it's saying make the mature decision around the ideas and things versus a less mature, more sketchily driven
Mm-hmm.
decision.
Mm.
That could be it also, but it also is about who is making the decision, and that's you, not somebody else. And so if somebody else is trying to make off with this decision,
Mm.
then you are in power to bring down the sword and say no. And if it means recourse to a credit card, it could be that or whatever. I mean, you have things at your disposal beyond just a conversation, but it should not have to get to that if that's what you want. So the idea is that you are the decider. You are the justice card. It is emphasized. There's no other card closest to the justice card than the King of Swords.
Mm.
Jana,
Wow.
what do you see here? Do you see things in these cards? You have a little bit of experience with this, I think, or at least intuition. I know you have intuition.
I don't have anything to say because I don't know anything about them.
Well, welcome. It's nice to see you.
Thank you. I love,
Congratulations on your product launch and everything that's coming.
thank you. The death one, I really loved all the different angles that were presented, you know. So
Mhm.
just from one end of actual death to something to it being a rebirth or a birth of something. So
Mhm.
I like that one.
And isn't it? And this is such a powerful card, Jenna. It's great noticing there's so much in this card. You can see, do you see those two pillars in the background? That's kind of similar to the two pillars that Justice card is sitting in between. Anytime
Mm.
you got pillars, you're talking Kabbalah, by the way. That's the pillars. And anytime with the high priestess, the black and white pillars, it's Masonic, it's Kabbalistic, it's all those things. So you can see these in the distance and look at the sun rising.
Hmm.
And then you have this abyss here and a river. Maybe the river Styx. The king, resistance is futile. The
Oh.
Pope, he's negotiating. Sorry. The justice girl, she's like, no, it's only the baby. It's only the baby who's like, okay, what's this? And so receive
Mm.
this innocently and learn what you can from it. Bring it flowers. That the baby has some flowers there. I've never seen that before.
Wow.
Mm.
And um again, you are the one with the decision-making power. So huh, you like Mary Engelbreit. I think we've talked about this before. And there's a little Mary Engelbreit. It's like lettering. It's very cutesy, gardeny lettering. Maybe we talked it was somebody else, but there's a place where this little girl is going along and she comes to a fork in the road and she takes this way. And this one is like the future. And that one is no longer an option. So whichever way you decide is whichever way you decide. It's a choice. And you will see where the chips fall either way. I think that this is recommending that you take a larger choice, but you have to decide what's more largely important for yourself. And that may be whose timeline prevails.
Mm.
And
Wow.
you opened this up talking about how your time and your freedom and your time and your pace have been important to you. And so perhaps that's the most important driver in this.
Hmm.
Carmen, what do you think? As you look at this, we've been talking, 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 and you've probably had some ideas.
I still, don't know these cards and how you're reading them. I appreciate how you're identifying the pieces in the card and expressing what they are. So I'll be learning, by looking at them. Do they
Mhm.
always mean that same thing if
No,
that
it's
card
very,
shows up?
and that's why it's been so, that's why Janet could say all the different takes on the death card because we're all interpreting it in a particular way.
Okay.
And so that's one of the things that's really nice about tarot. And another thing that kind of drives people crazy about tarot is that you can't say it means this
Okay.
because it never means this. Life doesn't mean this. Everything always means whatever you make it mean. And when how what do we hear of the messages we're getting? It's an opportunity to consider. It's a lot of different
Okay.
things. It's like a conversation prompt. And so the conversation is the most important part in here, I think.
Okay.
Most importantly, Julie, what do you think about all this?
Yeah.
Mm. Well, it all like was really resonating and landing, you know, about it being like, my timeline and my decision and not, what did you say? Deciding without too much emotion and really considering everything. Someone trying to trick you, cutting corners, all of that. I think I just don't like a lot of people in the Stacy verse want to go fast, and I'm not fast. And then I can get where it's like, oh my God, you're not going fast enough. You're not doing enough. Do more. But then if I try to do more, then I usually just kind of shut down and then I don't want to do anything. So that's kind of where I've been
I think
lately
what's
and
interesting in this
pushing
whole
too
thing,
much.
I'm sorry to step on you.
No, no, go
I
go
was
ahead.
just noticing that all the people in this reading, and we're seeing people in every card,
Mhm.
they're all singles, so it's your decision. And they're either a major arcana or they are what's called a court card, a king, a queen, a knight. They all
Mm.
have some level of nobility, except for
Mm.
that recommendation against. So I would say it might be productive to look at some childhood issues. Have things been taken from you as a child? Did people put things over on you as a kid? Were you deceived as a child? So is there something that you have within your past that this is bringing up and perhaps making you resist? And if so, then that would be something to push through or to pause and just recognize and process, because maybe you need a month to just get through that issue so that you can move forward.
Mhm. Mhm.
I was talking with Carmen
Yeah.
earlier, and we were talking about how it feels so weird when you invest in things because it feels like you're losing, and it's like a wave. You're from California. We have big waves here, and
Yeah.
on the beach when I can't do it here, but when the wave, and if anybody, Pacific Ocean, very powerful, and so the waves are big, and if you're standing like ankle deep or knee deep in the water. When that water's going out, it can maybe even knock you down by pulling you so hard. And the water's pulling out and it's pulling out and then it comes forward. But it has to build up. And so perhaps this period of not moving forward is your period of building up your strength. In which
Mm,
case, that's where you don't cut the corners because you're going to need all your strength. If you don't feed yourself, you're going to run out of fuel. If you don't stock up, whatever the metaphor you want to use, but perhaps this is the time and you're feeling it that you really need to process, get ready, integrate your knowledge, spend
yeah,
some time with family,
yeah.
receive the gifts of the season, which are real and they are astral and star. There's a lot of literal energy at this time of year that is to be um, slowed down and felt and appreciated and given thanks for and all that. And we could be very entrepreneurial and push through and, manifest it and hustle and all that kind of stuff. But it is, perhaps it's helpful to have a period of rest.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Mary, you were noticing that hanged man, and that certainly represents taking
yeah.
a break or
Mm-hmm,
doing what's good for you versus what other people say is good for you.
mm-hmm.
That's another thing about the hangman. Here's Joseph Campbell was talking about this the other night. No, well, he's dead now, but I was listening to, sorry, Joseph. Um, I was listening the other night to a lecture just before he passed away, and he was talking about the Marseille Tarot. And he was talking about the hanged man and how in that part of the world, in the south of France, in Italy, in the Mediterranean, when you are hung upside down, it's because you are not socially acceptable anymore. And so all the Mussolini family and stuff were hung upside down. The woman, the priest, all the ministers, because they were no longer in favor. And so that was the symbol of no longer being in favor. And so the hanged man is someone who's willing to not be in favor
Hmm.
because it's their own pathway and they have that's so you are willing to withstand the judgment of others in order
Hmm.
to follow your own path.
Wow. Okay.
So that's
Interesting.
another thing to consider as well, because and with that justice card above and the hangman below, I would say that this is a perfect time for you to um, pause and integrate your thinking and balance yourself.
Perfect. That sounds like spot on. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure, as always, as always. When
Yeah.
we all love you, Julian, so we all want the best
Mm.
for you, you know?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you'll have this in the recording. You can probably take a screenshot now.
That's true. I probably
And
could.
Carmen, I'm handing it back to you. We can
Yeah.
read somebody else or talk about your show because this is a cool place to be. You're the queen
I
of the
Yeah.
party.
Yeah, I am just so intrigued by it. Like I'm like, I speak all the time. I always raise my hand and I'm always with the questions and, the curiosity and stuff. And it's just like because the cards read differently depending on who you're reading them for, is what I get. It's like this, you could get a different story each time. And I could see the following of this because it kind of guides you. Um, if you have a little bit of faith in these cards and what's coming out, is that like your intuition? Like all of you have this intuition that you work with these cards and how to operate. Like, how do you learn this? It's my
Well,
my thought.
it's kind of you learn by playing around with them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing some classes, and so you can learn like that. Every deck that you buy is going to have a little booklet in there. It's going to give you some like real basic meanings. There's 100,000 books out there about tarot. It's a subject that has lots of attention on it because it can hold all that thought. The thing about tarot is so amazing that it can hold all of that, and it could be. It's like a really fabulous card that you could take anywhere.
Okay. Yeah, well,
Um, and you can also be reckless with it. And so we need to, for those of your audience, Carmen, and I respect this, for
mhm.
those of your audience who are like, ooh, that's a little bit scary, I'm going to say that it's kind of like a car that if somebody decided to step on the gas and head toward the sidewalk or something, you could really do some damage, you know? And so people can use these cards to manipulate other people or we talked about that FOMO. Well, if I told you, well, look, someone is plotting against you, and they're wearing purple, and you're going to be like looking around for everybody in purple and then feeling paranoid. And so
Right.
it's the responsibility of the reader to
Okay.
really interpret in such a way that you're not playing up fear, but you're playing up faith, or you're helping people to see their power and their intelligence and their beauty and all those good things. But can our commercials manipulative? Yes. Are some of them really adorable and make us cry and they're wonderful? Yes. That's not to say that this is all of those things. It just depends on how you're going to use it. And so my intention is positive. I feel like I'm digging a hole right here. Mayor, you're nodding. Maybe you have some
No,
thoughts
I
on
get
this
it.
because you've dealt with
Well,
this.
well, first of all, everybody has intuition. Everybody.
Everybody.
And it's about, like today, I would not go to the Olympics in any sport and be successful because I haven't done the practice and the work to be a, top athlete. We all have intuition. And it's just a matter of practicing and using it. And quite frankly, you could get this exact same card pull tomorrow and it not mean the same thing.
Wow. True.
And so it's a tool, and you have to remember that it is a tool, and the tool is, hey, in my human experience, I feel like I need a little more data to assist me in getting off the balance beam, if I could even get on it. Um, right? It's it's not it's not black and white. It's not a light switch moment. It's a it's a faith moment, in that I'm trusting that the universe or God or whatever it is that you believe in, is allowing me some additional data in which to move forward in whatever the situation is. Um, remember that it's a tool. And oh, by the way, no matter what we have said tonight about it, if you have a feeling like, yeah, no, that doesn't work for me, trust your vibes.
Yeah.
If this were your reading, Julie, it's your reading. So, Julie, whatever we said, whatever. It doesn't, it's, you can throw it all out because you can go, yeah, no, that doesn't really work for me. Or there's something in what you all said. Not exactly this, but there's something in it. And so I got enough new data in which to give myself permission to take December off from making this decision. How about that? Right? Or whatever it is. I'm just kind of, everybody has intuition. It is practice. Um, I like Oracle cards for starting because they're softer. Um, they're not as scary. I find that they're not as scary to people. Like people's judgment dragons come out and they go, "Oh, I got the death card. Something terrible and horrible is happening. Oh my gosh, I also got the hangman in the same reading. Oh my God." Like there are some people who would like put a spin on it that, that was bad. It's so not. It's so freaking juicy. It is so freeing. There's opportunity. There's so much opportunity in that. What it says to me is that you're willing to take a different look and choose something, not pay attention to everybody else's and really connect into your own self. But I don't know, Carmen, if that helps
Yeah,
you or not.
I relate to dreams. Like I like dreams. I've heard how dreams are interpreted, and I listen to that a lot. And like death doesn't scare me. When they say they had a dream about death and this that, to me death is reliving, because you're killing something. Something in your dream has died off and you're ready for something new, and that's kind of like the interpretation that was given here. And the hangman being, wanting to be on his own, that's a positive thing, like you just leave me alone for now.
Yeah,
It's like that's
exactly, exactly. And so
yeah,
you're showing Carmen how easy it is to like like sometimes my husband will walk by and he looked down at one card and he said, "Son, you've been weighed and measured and found wanting." And I'm going to show you what card that is, and you can see if you agree. And he was just joking around, but he just nailed it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there goes the justice and
Oh yeah, exactly. So you can see
yeah.
the scales. So this guy gets it because he's got it a little bit more together. This guy, if you give it to him, it's just going to go out that hole in his cape, you know? And so
Oh, okay.
things like
That's
that. And
funny.
so,
Yeah.
and then there's another one that we have a million metaphors for, like this one. This is a scary card. People don't like this one, the Tower card, right? But you can say, "Oh my God, that just threw me for a loop. It flipped my lid, knocked my socks off. Oh my gosh, what's another expression?
You're
Knocked
free
me
from
down,
it. You're free from the chaos. I mean,
free from
it's
the chaos, exactly. And I was just thinking of little funny, little slangy expressions that we have that fit the cards so well. Like the hangman, like this one, like being hung up
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
or having to
Yeah.
hang out for a while the decision is made.
Right.
Or
Okay.
someone hung me out to dry.
Mm.
Or I've been ostracized.
That interesting thing about his face, the hangman, he looks like he's really chilling.
Exactly. And he's got a halo and everything. That's so well noted, Jana.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then look at his yoga pose.
yeah,
He's
Hmm.
at ease. He's
yeah.
okay hanging out there for a
Exactly.
while,
Well
you
spotted.
know?
Well spotted. And he's got this little, oh, let's look at this other card, which is the world card, which is this card of ultimate triumph. And you'll see the same pose in the legs. And
Mhm.
so it's that same character now, that same kind of pose. The magician had the 1-1. Now this one has the 2 1s. This is the big triumph card. So there's all kinds of stuff in here. And then you've got all this Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, or you've got the signs of the zodiac, or you've got, it's just symbol, symbol, symbol. All
And how
kinds of
many
stuff.
cards are there to a deck? Is that like
In a tarot
our
deck,
playing cards?
it's usually 78.
78. Oh, that's a lot. Okay.
It is. So there's 22 majors and then four suits of 16 minor, or four suits of 14 minors. And so that's four times, is that right? Yeah, 76 and 22, 46 and 6, 56 and
46
22.
majors and 14 minors. Okay.
There you go.
Corsets. Okay.
Yeah. And so I can show pictures if people want that, but this may be too much for our little show right now. How long are we going on, Carmen? You're throwing a good party. I like it.
We're good. We're good. I can't tell on here. It's 8:53, so I we're good. I think after this we're good. We could just, start wrapping it up if you have any questions. You were going to show cards, a deck of cards or
Let me just show a quick deck of cards. Thank you. And
sure.
I will just go. I need to share screen and figure this out. Okay, this is my. Okay. Give me a moment while I just need to pull this up in my browser so that
Sure.
I'm not showing whatever, who knows what in my browser. Hang on a second.
She is very good with her tech.
I'm trying to get there, but it's
Yeah.
can be a challenge, you know. So
Jamie, I tried to zoom it to my group, and Facebook was doing something so different today. I didn't have to copy keys or anything, and it worked when I tested it. It did live in the Facebook while I was on live with Zoom, but now today it didn't. For this event, it didn't do it, so I'll have to copy it. But
Facebook is weird today, so
oh, I
follow up for
heard.
that.
All right, so this is a deck of cards,
so
22 majors.
this is the main character. So like if there was a common thread, the human thread or the soul thread through it, it's represented by this fool guy. And then the majors we're going to look at 21. So there's 22 total. So you got this one guy, the 0, and now there's 21 cards. And this is the first 7, which is kind of like what we come into the world with.
Okay.
We have our masculine and feminine polarities. We got parents. We have a teacher. We got some friends, and we might get a car.
You see me, the Empress, I'm there.
There you are.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly. And if you wanted to get very, very big about this, you would talk about the magician is the wielder of the power. The high priestess is the magnet for the power. The empress is substance,
Mhm.
all substance. The emperor is the container or the form, the limiter of the substance. The Hierophant is like the teaching, the learning. The Lovers is dealing with other people and the choices you make. The
Relationships.
Chariot is the getting past where you grew up and going out into the world.
Mm,
And then you have
wow.
to figure out what's next in your life. And this is, Anne Marie, she talks about this being, she calls this adulting. So you have to deal with your passions. You got to learn to be alone. You have to deal with luck, with that Wheel of Fortune. There's your Justice card right down the middle there at the
Mhm.
hinge. And you have to deal with the laws of the land, your own ethics, what other people think, all the rules and everything. The Hangman, as we saw, that's whether you're in or out kind of thing. 13 is that Death card. 14 is getting your balance again, passing that test, figuring it out. So next for you, Julie, would be that Temperance card in terms of just coming into balance again. And then there is the 15, which is the Devil card, which is these are now states of consciousness. Are we super materialistic? Are we all about the power? Do we think that it's only about the money? That's a big trap. And then if that's the case, then reality is going to come in and tell you something different and knock you out of that preconception or that ivory tower. You know how we live in our little world of our misconceptions or preconceptions? Those people, reality is saying, no, it's not that. And so we are left naked unto ourselves. Who are we? That's the Star card. It's kind of like, okay, there's the first glimmer of connection to ourselves. The moon is more light, but it's confusing and very emotional. And then the sun is when you kind of connect to the source and you get a touch of that. If maybe you have a big thing, and now it's carrying you. And then you have to march to a different drummer with that judgment card. And then it's a victory and it's an ending, but then it's a beginning because you're back at the beginning again,
Wow.
ready to make another jump.
Wow.
So that's the soul journey. That's 22 cards representing the soul's journey. And then you've got these four suits. And the four suits are representing ideas and inspiration and all that stuff way up high. Remember that white, black, and gray up there where we can't get up there, that Trinity
Right.
place way up
Yes.
there? That's the wands. That's the inspiration. That's the intuition. We can't control it, but we get a little piece of it sometimes. Like Mary was talking about it. We can start opening our channel some more to access that some more. And then if we're going to do anything with those notions, then we have to care about it because our creation comes from our love and care. And then once you love and care about it, and this is where the power place is, they talk about the power thing is controlling your emotions, about that it's driving your feelings, or feelings are what get it. That's why Tony Robbins gets people into a frenzied state, is because the state is what drives it. And so, but then after the state, you got to start taking actions and making some plans and making a list and trying to figure out, how's this going to play out and make a plan. And then finally, it's going to be in the flesh, which is the one with a star. Why is there the witchcraft star? It's not a witchcraft star. It's representing five senses. It's our
Interesting.
five senses. And that's how we deal with the world. And so this is flesh, right? And that's that, and that knight down there is that slow guy that we saw in um, the reading earlier, was that Knight of Pentacles is needing to take his time, you know? And that was the first card in Julie's array, was the beginning of this journey and needing to really cultivate and water it and get it so that it can grow. And so then if we look real quickly at the suits, you're going to see 1 through 10 in each of the suits. This is the wands. This is like creative ideas and stuff like that. And then we have the court cards. Can we see the court cards? I can't see them.
There's three of them up there.
Okay.
Four. There you go.
Thank you. And then we have the cups, which is more about emotional things. And then we have the swords, which is about thought and intellect and planning. And that's where you're not, at this point, this is like when you're planning for surgery, you don't want to fall apart like, oh my God, I can't deal with it. You want somebody who's going to be cool under pressure, right? And so, but you can't operate in this mode all the time or you'll be a robot or a real jerk, it has to be informed by feeling and by some other kind of thing. And there's the court cards, I hope. And then we have the pentacles here about contracts, family, life, real estate, housing, jobs, all that kind of stuff. So those are the 4 suits. So there's
Wow.
14 of each of those times 4, that's 56, and then the 22, and that's where you get the 78. And this is the reading that we did today, just so we can, oops, sorry about that. This is basically, I should have shown this before, but this was the lineup of things, the meanings underneath the cards that we were looking at for Julie today. And for you when you came with the reading behind you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that beautiful perspective card being the mother and the primacy of the mother and how this is all
Yeah.
about the mother. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So thank you for listening to my little spiel. I hope it's been useful and because it's intriguing because we have all that stuff inside us and it's interesting to see it pictured. And I have so many decks. I've got an Alma Latina deck that has nothing but like Mesoamerican symbols. And then I have a deck by this Black woman painter, and she did all these original paintings, and they're
Oh
all
my
of like,
gosh.
it's such an art form, you know? It's really
Yeah,
cool.
that's my
Here's a
connection.
non-scary tarot, by the way. This
There you go.
anything by
Angel Tarot
Radley
cards.
Valentine.
He's
This by
great.
Radley Valentine is very gentle.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's a real nice intro into the tarot is all the angel tarot stuff that he does. I like him.
Okay, nice. Well, yeah, my being Catholic and the spiritual belief and faith, this was taboo all the time, and so I always heard about it being done in the botanicas, like the behind the black door. You go there and they read your cards. And my grandmother was really into this, and she was 104,
Oh
so
my
she was
God, look at the
always,
longevity
yeah.
in your family, Carmen.
Yeah, yeah. And she was always in the Botanica, and she'd come out so happy and relieved because, she believed in this card reading and she followed it in whatever way she was doing it. She followed it and she just loved it. I was always curious, but I was always afraid to like cross over, sort of. But I like it. It's interesting. I love the art of it. I love that it's another realm to to motivate you, if
Yes.
possible.
Yeah, and I hope you noticed, Carmen, and because we're all involved in the kind of coaching world and everything, that it's really important. We talked about this before. It's really important to try and use language that's going to be empowering to the person. So I really try to avoid telling people don't or to watch out for it's there's enough
Right.
fear and loathing in the world that we don't need to multiply our fears for God's sake. So that's
So,
another important thing. So, if you end up watching tarot, like there's 80 million tarot card readers online and stuff, if you end up and I can recommend a couple of good ones, but if you end up watching somebody, listen for the language. And if you notice that they're using language that is like real hooky and fearful,
yeah.
that may be a way to get people hooked into them
Okay.
as an advisor versus into their own growth. And so that's where I would run, don't walk
Wow.
from
All
those.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to go anywhere. I trust this group. I trust you ladies. And if I pursue it, Mare and Allison, and you seem to be the strong ones that I've seen, speaking of it. So we'll see where, we could take it. And Mare, I'm booked through March right now, only, doing Wednesday events. And I'm trying to see how far I'm going to go, if I'm going to continue after March to do it, because I really don't want it to just be interviews. I want to try to get this moving somewhere with an offer.
Yeah,
So I'm waiting a little bit, and then there's no lack of people that want to come on, so I love it,
that's
because
great.
it's just
And then you're going to
interesting
get all kinds
stuff.
of feedback that's going to let way before March, you're going to have a direction.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's the plan. So, and then if it's open, I'm gonna start calling everybody and we just keep doing this. And I'll see how my schedule opens up because I'm still working, employment work. So I still have that first commitment there. This was terrific. Oh, I
Well,
love
you
it.
look gorgeous. I have to say that you are
Thank you,
looking
thank you.
fabulous, Miss Carmen. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad.
Thank
Happy
you.
Christmas,
Gracias.
everybody.
Gracias. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Again, I'm learning the technology. This is the first Zoom I do alone. And so I've noticed in the beginning it asked me to record again. So I don't know where it started recording. So hopefully, Julie, you got most of your information of what you needed from this. But when I
Mhm.
repost it, it'll start where I was able to start recording. So you'll see it.
Cool.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Allison.
All
Thanks,
right.
Carmen.
See you
Take
guys.
Bye,
care,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.